Hey, welcome back guys. This is Mikey here. So following on from one of my last videos about the top 5 that you can do to be financially better off in 2019, I thought I would go through maybe another aspect of it, which is credit cards. And you might have seen a lot of videos online from a lot of American guys who go on about credit cards, and I thought, well, why don't we talk about it from a British perspective, because how they treat you credit card wise, certainly here in the UK, is different how you would be treated than in the USA. And there's people like Graham Stephan who talk about the kind of credit card hacks and the credit card shifu, and they're all great, but they're not British specific, so I thought I would go through a British specific one. Now, there are a couple of websites you can also use to check, and I would recommend that is a great place for you to start when you're looking at a credit card. You could use MoneySavingExpert.com, which is affiliated to the Martin Lewis stuff, and you've probably seen him if you're British, and he is a great guru for finance and hacks and things like that, so check him out. But I don't particularly like his website. It's very confusing and it doesn't really give very much specific details or able to look in depth really the way I want to look. So I'm going to use uswitch.com, which actually, looking on the face of it, is a bit more simpler in terms of understanding the information. So that's what I'm using, uswitch.com here in the UK, and I'm going to go through what they've got on here, which is the most popular once I've gone onto the website, which you can see, uswitch.com up here. Okay, so let's go with their most popular cards, and we will start with Santander Everyday Credit Card. Now, I personally can recommend this card. I do have this card myself, and it has been absolutely brilliant. I had 27 months 0% interest on balance transfers, and I actually had 24 months 0% on purchases, whereas the current offering only gives you 3 months 0% on purchases, but you still got the 27 months on balance transfers. So the rules have slightly changed since I got mine. My credit card is due to run out next year, and I will of course be looking to move my balance across to a 0% card. I can recommend this card. It's brilliant. It does exactly what it says. There's no fee, there's no transfer fee, so I've been able to spend going to and from America and other places, and I'm paying 0% on any purchases that I've got. There are some charges. Obviously, if you use your credit card abroad, there will be a local conversion rate to local currency and things like that, but that is to be expected. But I would say if you are a new credit card user and you have a Santander bank account, having the Santander Everyday Credit Card is absolutely brilliant. It's a must, and it will help you build up your credit rating. It certainly has helped me build up my credit rating. So in terms of credit cards, I think as a starter credit card, if you've got a Santander bank account, it's great. So that would be my number 1 pick. Then we come to a card which has been frequently talked about actually, which is the American Express Platinum. Now, I haven't got too much experience with this. I've seen a lot of it online, and what I can see initially is the Platinum Cashback Everyday Credit Card is a decent card. I mean, the representative rate is higher than the Santander card. Santander was 18.9 and this is 22.9. But of course, if you are travelling around the world, American Express, it's pretty much worldwide recognised, so I would recommend that. You've got the peace of mind with that. In terms of what this actually offers, 5% cash back on your first 3 months of up to £100. It's not a great deal. There's no sort of in offers like there are with, say, the Santander cards, because I've got a bank account. Also, I get offers for retailers, so not only do I get the offer offers on my normal debit and card from my bank account. I also get the same offers extended to my credit card when I purchase. I don't see any of this in the information with the American Express, but nonetheless, again, it's a good minimum card. There is no fee to have the card, and I would say that that's a pretty decent starter card along with the Santander card. Next up we have the Santander all-in-one credit card. Now, I personally am not a fan of cards which charge you a monthly fee. There are benefits to them, and you know, if you're spending regular amounts and you're paying the amounts off every single month and not incurring any interest charges at all, they can be very useful. But I still don't like the fact that I would have to pay. At the end of the day, the credit card companies want you to use their credit line and put you into debt, if you will, so that, you know, they're going to make money off the back of you. So I don't like the fact that you're going to have a credit card which you're already borrowing money on, and you're being charged a monthly fee. Plus, it's a high rate of interest, and it's variable, 21.7%. I like the fact that there's 30 months 0% interest on transfers. That's great. So if you're transferring across, great. But again, personally, any credit card which is going to charge you a fee when you are on a low income or restrictive income, I don't agree with, and I would say avoid a card that costs you. There are lots of other cards out there which actually don't cost, help you build your credit history, which I'm not going to look at today, but there are plenty out there. So I wouldn't recommend this credit card from Santander. I think they offer a far better option with their everyday credit card that we looked at the beginning. So next up is the M&S credit card. Now, there are benefits to having a Marks & Spencer's credit card if you didn't already know. Things like you get 500 points, which is akin to £5, which isn't really much these days. You get a point per pound spent in store. So again, if you're going to be buying stuff in the holidays using this card in Marks & Spencer's in the sales, may as well. There's a smaller amount of transfer months available on this card, only 20 months. That's not really that good a deal these days, but the representative interest is a lot lower at 98.9. There is, however, a transfer fee of 2.9%. You know, so if you're looking to transfer your balance from another card onto this, I wouldn't recommend it, because they're going to charge you nearly 3% off the bat, and I really don't like the fact that, you know, you should be charged for moving your credit from one provider to another. But there are benefits. I mean, if you're going to get travel money as well from Marks & Spencer's, it's worth using this because you do get the benefits of that as well. But again, I'm not a fan of what they're offering. You know, you're borrowing their money, and they're going to get you somehow. So, you know, I would say avoid this one unless there are massive advantages for you to shop at Marks & Spencer's. So next up, we have the Asda Cashback Start Credit Card. Now, again, there's no fee. I like that, no fee, and it's part of Asda, which is Asda Walmart, massive global brand. However, you need to be aware that Asda as a chain itself is being taken over by Sainsbury's here in the UK, and so it will no longer have an affiliation to the Walmart branding. There may be some tie-ins, but in those kinds of terms, Asda is such a big brand name here, but I would just err on the side of caution. However, 0% for 6 months on all George.com. George.com is their online and their clothing line. Loads of stuff like that. You know, that's good if you're having to buy kids' school clothes and things like that. And you can get 0%, and then you pay off the balance every month. It's great. Again, 1% cashback on all Asda spend. So if you do your weekly shop at Asda, use the card, pay it off, you're getting 1%. It's free money. You may as well do this. And then 0.2% cashback on all other purchases. That's not bad, not great, but you're getting something for nothing you're not getting on some other cards. However, where it really hits you is the representative percentage amount there, 34.9. That is huge. So if they aren't going to get you one way, they're going to get you another. So, you know, this isn't going to be a card for everybody, but if your main grocery shop is an Asda, there are going to be some advantages here for you. The next one, I'm actually going to lump the next few together because they are all Virgin credit cards. So you've got Virgin Money, and then you've got Virgin Money Travel credit card, you've got Virgin Money 29-month balance transfer credit card. Now, what you don't know, obviously Virgin as a brand is global. You've got Virgin Airways, which no longer part of the branding, but they still keep the branding, with Richard Branson, Virgin Holidays and all other sorts of things. Now what you might not know is that Virgin Money and Virgin credit cards are actually tied into the global partner of MBNA, and they are pretty aggressive in their tactics. My personal experience with MBNA has not been a good one. I had a credit card many years ago. Unfortunately, it was stolen. It was a brand new credit card, and it was used abroad while I was on holiday, and we were drugged, Hypnol drugs. Woke up the next day, credit cards had gone. A balance of £3,500 had been racked up, and they had used what they call the hook and loop at the ATMs, and they had been very clever, and they had withdrawn the maximum amounts before midnight, just after midnight, and they'd gone to local bars, charged cash at local bars, got cash back, and maxed out the credit card within the space of 2 or 3 hours before the card could be shut down. I had police reports, I had all sorts of information to prove that we had been a victim of crime. MBNA wouldn't accept that, and I ended up being on the hook for £3,500 about 15 years ago. And so representative now, you're looking at between £15,000 to £20,000 that would have been the value of. I ended up having to foot the bill for that. That's a hard lesson I learned, and I would never make that mistake again. Anyway, to get out of that, my personal experience with MBNA and Virgin has not been a good one, so I'm going to say with any of these cards that I wouldn't touch them with a barge pole. They're all much for muchness. They offer balance transfers. Some of them offer a fee for a balance transfer, some of them are a 0% fee, and then there's 1.75. But personally, I would not want to give my money to anybody affiliated with MBNA. And this could also be said of cards like from smaller providers like Asda, that this could be underwritten, for example, by one of the big card companies. And generally, when a small card company comes out, it's underwritten by a much larger organisation. So this could again be an MBNA underwritten card. It's just got Asda slapped across the top of it. So I'm going to scooch through these. Now we get to some of the good cards, like the American Express Platinum card, and this one has been talked about particularly again by Graham Stephan, and it provides a similar sort of thing that you would see on his channel, so go and check his channel out. American Express, the Platinum card, you get a concierge service, airport lounge access, so if you're travelling, absolutely brilliant. You get 30,000 membership rewards points when you spend the first 2,000 in 3 months. So if you are planning a big trip, pay for it on this card, get the free points, get the complimentary lounge access, get the concierge service, and make the full use of it, but pay the balance off in full. Now, I've been saying all along that I don't like fees, but when it comes to what this card particularly offers, I feel a fee for this card is justified. I don't like the fact it's £37. I don't feel that that is a representative value for the use of this card. I would like to see lower fees, and I would particularly like to see somewhere in the region of £5 to £10. But I do understand why they put a particular fee on, because it's prohibitive and they want to put off 90% of the people who would look at this card, and they really only want the 10% who can afford these sorts of things. They don't want to be dealing with people in debts and debt collection and that sort of thing. So I get why they have it. But if I was a little bit wealthier and I was doing more travelling again, I would absolutely consider this card. I would rate it at number 2, right behind the Santander Everyday Credit Card, only because of the fee. If it didn't have a fee associated with it, this would be number 1. But it's like trying to compare apples and oranges. They're fruits, but they're different fruits. And you know, I think maybe it's a little bit unfair to say that this is second. It has its merits, a lot more merits than the Everyday Credit Card, but from my financial standpoint, this comes in at number 2. Then we come to another credit card from M&S. This is a Transfer Plus credit card, and you know, you're transferring a balance and they're charging you almost 1%. 28 months interest free on transfers. Sorry about the church bells going off. It's that time of day. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The charges on this card I've looked into. Again, they have the same benefits as the other M&S bank account, credit card. If you're using it, then great. If you're using it in M&S, it makes sense, but I don't feel that this card really is representative of what we should be looking at in terms of what it gives you. It doesn't give you enough. Even though there's no fee for this card, it's not giving you enough to really warrant somebody on a very small or modest income picking this card up. Now, there are on this website as well, I would love to point out, frequently asked questions, which is really, really good, and I would run through these. Credit card guides, debt help. Now, by law here, they have to provide you with this sort of information, because it would be remiss of them to recommend stuff and say, you know, you have to be mindful of debt. And of course, listening to me, you know, this is only a guide. You know, you're an adult, you can make a choice on your own. You know, I'm not giving you financial information. I'm not a financial institution, I'm not a broker, I'm just an individual guy talking about what I see are the benefits of these cards. So if you go ahead and make a decision on one of these cards, that's on your own head. You can't blame me for this. Just do your due diligence, and this is what this video is really here to do, is to kind of help you work out what you might be looking at. Now, there are more cards associated, and we will just scooch down just to see what they come up with. So there it goes, back to the top of the card again. Santander at the top, 27 months. Again, I've not heard of this card, Tandem Journey credit card. It could be underwritten by somebody like MBNA. I tend to avoid lesser known credit card providers. Basically, if I don't know who's underwriting it, or I've never heard of the company, I'm quite wary. The all-in-one credit cards there. We have the Virgin Money card. Aqua is a card which is quite well advertised here in the UK. If you've got bad credit history, it's one of these cards which it does charge you a lot of variable rate APR, but there's 0% on balance transfers and purchases. It's great at, again, building up your credit history, but if you are going to spend regularly on these cards, I would be very, very wary of that APR rate. We're back to M&S. Think Money, again, is another card which is advertised well here. Again, huge APR on it. It's really those people who want to build up a credit history, and so I would, again, avoid that if you're spending money on. There's the Asda credit card. Fluid, I've not heard much about this card, although the APR is not as high. You only get 9 months on balance transfers. I'm not very happy about that. Virgin Money, there we go, back showing these cards. So really, if we go backwards, I'm going to say here my recommendations are for credit cards which are going to help you are the Santander Everyday Credit Card, and this is not a paid product placement. Yes, I have a Santander bank account and a savings account, but I've banked with them for nearly 15 years, and formerly when they were Abbey as well. So you get that security. The one thing I will say about Santander is, and I did find that although they're a global company, say for example you go to America and you want to go to a Santander branch, say in Times Square in New York, they won't help you one little bit because you are a European customer. And I had this problem with Santander. Although they're a global company, you cannot speak to anybody. They don't recognise you as a customer of a US branch, so it makes it very, very difficult. That's just something to bear in mind. It's a little gripe, but it happens to the best of us. So I would still recommend that as my top card. No fee applied to it, 0% transfer fee. Yes, there's 3 months 0% interest on purchases. I would like to see that on the life of the card like I got, but they change the rules and regulations all the time, so do your due diligence. But in terms of your basic credit card, that is a great card. The next card that I'm gonna say really is the American Express Platinum. Although it's not the card with all the concierge service on it, there is no fee to it. It's a good card to have, certainly if you want to get your foot on the rung with American Express and be recognised as a customer. Great to build up a credit history with them. The all-in-one credit card for Santander, not so great. Fee. M&S, only if you're really going to shop at M&S. The Asda card, I would say avoid unless you're going to use them at Asda. We already know about Virgin that I'm avoiding. So my top two are the Santander Everyday and then the American Express Platinum card. And the only downside I see to that card is that there is a fee. Two very different types of cards, but there you go. If you want to pick holes in my argument, then okay, let's put them sort of like a train track, both on a different rail. They've both got their merits, probably equally, but those are the two cards that I will certainly be looking at. When I swap my card over, I will be looking at the American Express Platinum card because I do plan to do some more travelling this next year in 2019. Anyway, scooch on over, have a look at the website uswitch.com and have a look, see what you like and make some good choices. And if you haven't already, smash that like button, comment if you'd like to see some other stuff that may be more British specific rather than these American websites. Let me know, and I'll try and answer as many questions. If you want to get in touch, then I'll be happy to do so. But for now, thanks for watching, guys.